Look, Democrats, I get it. Since FDR's New Deal in 1932, the Democratic Party has been a big tent party with a broad coalition of folks who united white Southerners, Northern workers, labor unions, African Americans, Catholic, Muslim, and Jewish communities, progressives, and liberals. Along the way, we've not done our best at maintaining that broad coalition. And so many times we've left members of the BIPOC communities, the LGBTQ plus communities, Muslims, and those outside the Abrahamic traditions, and immigrants on the sidelines because of our mostly white, old establishment leaders, mostly male white old establishment leaders who began to put their political careers and their ambitions ahead of reasons that they were elected. In many ways, our party became as tepid and self serving as the Reagan era Republicans, and we need to own that. Today, however, there's a growing progressive wing in our party that is considerably left of the establishment Democrats, and we have bold ideas. The courage to directly confront injustice by calling it out for what it is. I mean, think about it. It's not Donald Trump's spin on something, it's his lies, and we should call them that. When his sycophants in the administration and Congress lie, they call them out. They ensure that the truth is heard, and they don't sugarcoat it. The response to the terrorism and Nazi era tactics that are happening in our country are not given carefully measured statements and bland talking points by these progressives, but in direct calls to action and unfiltered warnings of the danger that this situation represents. We now find ourselves with a coup d'etat having begun on January 6, 2021, escalating with the interference in the 2024 election and the dangerous agenda of the white Christian nationalists. And these folks are not afraid to say that. We're not going to get the young people's vote if they find the same old ineffective statesmen like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Jerry Nadler on the front lines. Now, those individuals have served our country well in the decades past, but they're not what those born in the past 40 years are looking for right now. People like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Maxwell Frost and Sarah McBride, Pete Buttigieg, David Hogg, Malcolm Kenyatta, and Stacey Abrams. These folks know how to reach voters between the ages of 19 and 45. But outside of their limited platforms that they're given by the Democrats, they're forced to only reach out on television talk shows and social media platforms. And we know the problems with the mainstream media. Meanwhile, we're forced to listen to Zeta Chuck or milquetoast political climbers like Hakeem Jeffries when the courageous actual leaders that we need, like Zoran Mamdani, AOC, Justin Pearson, and so many others, are being ignored by the establishment mainstream and by Democratic leadership. Look, nobody's saying that there's no room in the party for the aging centrists or the aging progressives. No one's saying the old guard isn't appreciated. They are. But what I'm saying is that if you love this country, if you love and truly value the foundations of our constitutional order and the democratic republic, then you must ask yourself if it wouldn't help us to defeat that orange, pants-shitting, dementia-driven felon, tyrant, and sociopath in the Oval Office who, in any other era of our history, let's face it, would have been taken out already by the CIA, the FBI, or whoever covertly handles such things. Maybe it would be best to ask yourself if stepping aside and putting the money, the effort, and the resources into endorsing and working to ensure those younger voices can step into leadership might not be the best chance we have right now. Be the mentors, the background leadership, and the visionaries that recognize that we will not win the midterms and take back the power that we need to defeat the Mango Menace without the votes of the majority of young people, the African American and other BIPOC communities, the LGBTQ plus communities, and other marginalized and oppressed people. Without the votes of the women whose lives have been destroyed by the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and without the support of those who can help us to gain enough of a majority to ensure that the illicit Trump supermajority in the corrupt Supreme Court is held accountable for their corruption and when appropriate, impeached and removed from office. For the sake of our nation, consider stepping aside and returning to the values of a broad coalition. Let's put our effort and our resources and our financial support behind these young leaders. That doesn't look like a goddamn early bird special at Homestyle Buffet or Wolfie's Deli. Ask yourself if it's not time for us to finally grow a pair and do the right thing.